We've covered pedophiles. We've covered fat chicks in music videos.
Oh, I just want to get this out of the way. A lot of people have been asking about, Sarah and I breaking up and everything like that.
Oh, we got to talk about that. Let's go.
Yeah, and I
go.
just, look.
Let's talk about it.
It is.
What happened?
It's just, I think.
First of all, I told you not to talk about this because I feel like you owe Sarah more than that, and I could see why she would be upset
He's gonna
about
break
you
down and cry anyway.
discussing.
No. I think, well, wow, I didn't realize that was a thing. I thought you were doing it for me.
I was doing it for both of y'all.
Oh, I would never, and I think you know this about me, I would never paint her in a bad light ever. And I have never done that, and I would never really do that to anybody that I really cared for. So, like, that's not even an issue.
You kind of said her pussy was whack last week.
No, I did not.
Sarah, I'm just
Watch
playing.
your
I'm
mouth.
just playing, Sarah.
Jesus
I'm
Christ,
just playing,
man.
Sarah.
You don't
Nobody
know what to
said
do.
that.
Yeah.
You don't know what to say.
Listen. After the dude that we saw that you used to go out with, you can't talk about pussy being whack, bro. This guy,
You can't say nothing to nobody.
No, that would be the only excuse to date something like that.
Who? What?
That pussy fire.
That pussy ain't fire. That pussy a dick.
Listen, that pussy fire.
You were fucking a urethra.
But back to the breakup.
Okay.
Why'd y'all break up?
We broke up. And again, the only reason I'm discussing this because I think a bunch of people have been hitting me up and saying that, I get in some weird way that they feel.
Your whole explanation, man.
Yeah, some kind of explanation, which is kind of true. Like we open up with our lives on the show, and I think in some way I do. And maybe somebody could get something out of it. I think what happened was I think a lot of times you fall in love with somebody and you love them so much that it almost blinds you to the fact that maybe you guys don't have great chemistry together. You know what I mean? And I think I worked at this point in our life, and I worked really hard to try to create that maybe chemistry, that kind of comfort. And for whatever reason, it just wasn't clicking. I mean, we went to couples therapy. I did meditation. I started drinking a little bit to just like get to a point where I could just kind of like calm down and kind of feel comfortable as myself. And it got to the point where I felt like I was kind of sacrificing myself in order to make the time that we spent together good. And
This is a great intro for any Drake record.
I'm just saying it's funny, but for real, it's just like, I think that happens a lot in relationships. You go, okay, well, if I don't do these things, then the time that we have together will be fun.
Okay, two things.
Yeah.
Number one, you should never fall in love with a person, because when you fall, you always get hurt. Like if you walk out here right now and fall off the sidewalk, you probably hurt yourself. You should always grow in love with a person. That's
Sure.
number one. Number two, if there's no chemistry, I don't care what nobody says, chemistry is not something that you can develop.
Can manifest.
You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm not saying there's none. Obviously we were, we got along really well, but I think as time maybe went, in the beginning of a relationship, what happens is you both kind of change certain things so that you can mold together, right? And I think as you grow, you start going, well, this is kind of who I am and this is kind of who I am. And then you got to hope that those things are congruent. And I think what at least for me, what started to happen is I just felt like, man, like I just want to feel comfortable at being myself and not be okay with the things. And I'm obnoxious, and I know that might be hard to deal with in these kind of things, but I just need to feel that I can be that way. And that kind of started weighing on me, and it was really tough because this is something I love so much and I care so much about this person, and I always want this person to do amazing things, and she's fucking incredibly talented, smart, and just beautiful. I just think the world of this human. But I knew that for whatever reason at this point in my life, it just wasn't, I just wasn't feeling right. And I finally built the courage to admit that to myself. Like I didn't even have the courage to go, hey man, you're not feeling that good.
How did she take that? What was her reaction?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure, she was hurt, and a lot of people look at it like, I don't know. A lot of people look at a situation like that as maybe it's like a selfish move. And Greg even had a good piece of advice from me once when you were saying, he was like, look, if you're not happy, you have to understand by staying in this relationship, you're being selfish. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, the other person knows that you're not happy and you're putting them through that. So the unselfish thing to do is actually just kind of breaking it off, because then you give that person the opportunity to go and be happy and find love and find what works.
That's how I feel about being faithful. It's like I'm being selfish, not sharing this good ass dick with the world.
Thank you, Charlamagne.
It's all jokes. But I honestly would sit back sometime and I would say to myself, when you first told me you and Sarah broke up, I thought it was your fault.
Yeah.
And the reason I thought it was your fault, because I was like, Schulz is draining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in a relationship with Schulz?
Oof,
He's
tough.
not gonna let you talk.
Tough.
anything he says, you better agree with. If you don't agree with it, I can see you sitting there asking her all night, do you understand where I'm coming from? So you don't see what I see? You don't see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? That right there could drive a sane motherfucker insane.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
absolutely.
Maybe it's just not meant for y'all to be together.
Absolutely. So I basically just, need someone who just can't talk.
You need a 17-year-old.
I need a 17-year-old.
Yo, you for real. You need somebody that need to get trained all over again.
In all seriousness, what you're saying is
100% true.
No, in all seriousness, what you're saying is interesting. Like, I really feel that way. Like, you need, different qualities. You need it needs to be Lego. It needs to be, and I feel like in a relationship, it needs to be to this point where it's like the things that the way I am as a human being and the way you are as a human being, for whatever reason, just come together and work out. And if for whatever reason I get along with people who are loud and abrasive like your fucking ass, for whatever reason, maybe I just get along with people like that. It maybe makes me feel more comfortable also being loud and abrasive. Like I could tell you, shut the fuck up. Because you can tell me shut the fuck up.
And if you're around somebody who's not like that, and they're quiet, it makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, what the fuck is your problem?
Yo, you plotting? What's good?
But you got to learn to accept people for who they are.
You're right. And I'm still growing, and I think in life we still grow, and that's why what you said is important.
That's why you don't love her.
We grow together.
You never loved her.
That's wrong.
No, I'm going to tell you why.
No.
Okay, I could be
disagree.
Wrong,
no, I'm telling you are wrong. I'm telling you you are wrong.
I'm going to tell you why I don't think you ever loved her.
I'm telling you you are wrong.
Loving somebody is loving them unconditionally. Loving them unconditionally, loving their flaws and all. Accepting their flaws.
And there's a difference between loving somebody and getting along with them. You love people that maybe you're related to. You love some of your best friends, but if you spend a lot of time with those people, they might irritate them. So there's a lot of times between love and like, and I think that's what happened, I think, with us, which is here we had this love, but there are things that I did that fucking annoyed the shit out of her, things that maybe she did that annoyed me, and that's not our fault. She's perfect as she is. Let's say I'm perfect as I am. Just sometimes those shits don't match up. You and your girl got something very lucky. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, you guys are. She puts up with your shit. You could fucking be on your phone tweeting all day, and you do your thing.
We've been together forever, man.
So that works.
Understand each other.
Exactly.
We know when to check in, when to check out. She likes her time too.
Yeah.
She likes to go upstairs, do her shit, or leave the house, go do what the fuck she got to do. Like, yo,
I understand how you appreciate your girl after dating that guy. I understand. Like, you look at your girl and you're like, oh my god, she has a neck. That's cool.
And not to mention, listen, there's something to be said about getting in early on these chicks. Because me and my girl been together since she was in 10th grade.
Was that not the creepiest fucking sentence?
I was supposed to be a senior. I was already out of school, and she was like in 10th grade.
Yeah.
And we started kicking it when she was like 16. So it's like I've been with her since she was like 16 years old. She's 32 now.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like about to be 33, I believe. And this shit. So it's like, it's something about being with a person from day one, growing with a person, evolving with a person. Nothing surprises you. You can tell when something's different because you've been with them so long, as opposed to getting in on somebody who's been in the league for a few years.
Bro.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you got to figure their game out. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Dude, I think this is why people want their children to date within the same culture. A lot of times we look at it as a racist thing, but, consider this. Don't you think that it'd be way easier to be in a relationship with somebody who understands the expectations for you and you understand the expectations for them? Like being with someone who's from the South, right? And from where you're from, right? They get when let's say you get crazy about football. They go, well, I grew up in a house where people get crazy about football. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? Whereas if you date a girl from Zimbabwe and they don't have football there, they're going to look at you watching football like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Listen, a house divided cannot prosper. The one thing I really love about my girl is that we've been together for so long. She knows everything. Like, I can talk to her about every aspect. Anything I'm going through in my career, anything I'm going through personally, I can tell her things and she can relate to it. I can tell her, she knows exactly who I'm talking about. I can talk about certain moments. I'm like, remember when this happened? Imagine having to explain all that shit over to somebody new. Nobody got that kind of time. And then motherfuckers judging you and shit.
That's the vulnerability is huge. The fact that you feel, but and I had that. I had that with her. I felt incredibly. I could be vulnerable, and I think you need that with any relationship.
Until she writes a record about your hairy butt.
That's
and
true,
then you're
man.
like, damn,
That's
I was
true.
too vulnerable.
Listen, man, we're gonna see. Hey, I might have created another Adele. You know what I mean? I might have. I don't know, man. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how much she loved me if she comes out with the fucking hit banger ass
Hey,
album.
listen, let's be clear. Sarah broke up with all of us. Sarah unfollowed me on Twitter. Everything. Sarah's like, fuck
great.
that. Sarah's like, fuck all of y'all, okay?
She's great, and
So what are you gonna do now, though?
I want to make this very clear. She's a great person that I care deeply about, and
Sell her up for the next guy.
no. I'm not even that. I'm being serious, and I don't want anybody, writing anything. Like, have some respect for this person. You know what I mean? She's a fucking awesome,
Nobody
awesome
writing
girl.
any stories about you too.
No, I'm talking about writing, tweets
Oh,
or or doing anything harassing like that. That's just fucking. It's just not cool, man. It's just not cool at all. And just have some respect for that person.
So are you out there now? Is that what you
Say what?